The stage is set for a weekend where INDYCAR and NASCAR go back-to-back on one track. INDYCAR Saturday, NASCAR Sunday.
It is on pure perfection.
Your one and only chance to see the biggest names in racing in one place.
Oh, that's a big one. Whoa!
From Phoenix Raceway. The Desert Double starts Saturday at 3 on Fox.
The official INDYCAR app, powered by NTT Data, puts the pulse-pounding action of INDYCAR right at your fingertips. Never miss a lap with the latest news, highlights, and live race coverage. Track every move with real-time leaderboards, interactive maps, onboard cameras, and driver radio. Your all-access pass to every race, every moment, every day. Download the official INDYCAR app now.
It's a beautiful day as INDYCAR returns to Phoenix, Arizona. Welcome to the NTT INDYCAR Series, qualifying live from Phoenix. Mick Schumacher lights up his tires and exits out onto track. This 26-year-old rookie in the NTT INDYCAR Series. This will be his first ever competitive weekend on an oval. Guys, what a huge amount of pressure for him, not least because it's his first qualifying session on an oval, but because he's the first driver out on track.
And again, it's a big ask. You know, when you are a rookie coming at your first oval here, you are the first one out in qualifying, the first one that's maybe trimmed it out, you know, put the thing as on edge as you're willing to, which for a rookie is probably a fairly conservative setup. But Townsend, you know what it's like. You pull out a pit lane, cold tires, you've got one warm-up lap before it counts. Getting that confidence, getting that feeling of what the race car is going to give you is so tough.
Yeah, but a 166 warm-up speed. I love the fact that Mick Schumacher P11 in the sole practice session this morning. He looks committed. The car balance looks pretty predictable. Lap one looks solid, Will.
He did a 173.2, his fastest this morning. Lap one is a 173.7, so Schumacher already up on where he was.
Watch the throttle trace. Maybe just a little bit of lift there through 1 and 2, but almost flat. He was right up to the wall at the exit of his previous lap.
And during that lift, you can see the hybrid recharging now off of 4. He
Good
hits
run.
it.
Good run.
Lovely run. 173.6. Qualifying order here today is the reverse championship order. So Mick Schumacher involved in that lap one crash with Santino Ferrucci and Stingray Robb. They will be the first two drivers out on track. Also of note, for those of you who are used to watching NASCAR Cup Series race around this track, be very used to see them dip down onto the apron through the dogleg. The INDYCAR rules and regulations state that on an oval, no tire may pass that solid yellow line. So they must stay within those track limits on all laps run here in qualifying.
Yeah, race director Kyle Novak's basically said you got to treat that yellow line like a wall. You're not going to be cutting down the dogleg. You can't try to flatten out the racetrack at any point. As you ride on board now with Ferrucci, who's so exciting on these types of tracks. But Townsend, you're pointing, you can see his hand going down, making an adjustment on the front bar there.
Yeah, not happy with the balance. Loose getting in there to turn 3. He'll come off of 4 for his first flyer, but struggling. 172.0 again. Mick Schumacher, that is a really impressive time when you compare that against Santino Ferrucci, which has so much oval experience. See if Ferrucci can settle his race car down on this second lap. Massive lift to the throttle there. This one might be slower.
Well, you expect Ferrucci to go well on ovals, but that first lap, 3 miles an hour under, and he's bailing.
The most experienced oval racer in this field.
By some margin. 195 starts on ovals for Dixon with 100 top 5s.
And 18 poles.
And 25 wins.
25 wins, but it's the 100 top 5s. That's insane. That's more than 50% of all attempts, Scott Dixon is in the top 5 on ovals. In a series as competitive as IndyCar, through so many phases now, so many packages of drivers have come and gone in this sport, hugely capable for Dixon to perform. It's spectacular.
Neither of Ganassi's champions in the top 10 in practice this morning. Dixon P12, his teammate Alex Palou P18.
That didn't look good at all through 3 and 4. Dixon, 1 and 2. Dixon hunting on the throttle, and look at him kind of chasing the car here. He stays flat. Maybe they trimmed it out a little bit, but 172.4. Mick Schumacher is faster than Scott Dixon on his first flying lap in Mick's first ever attempt.
Scott using all the racetrack on exits, all the racetrack on entry. You saw that hybrid deployment coming off of 4 here. He's coming to the line.
Dixon over the line, and it's good enough for second as it stands. 172.4 average.
0.9 average there, Scott.
And Scott Dixon, with all of his experience and all of his prowess, cannot yet depose Mick Schumacher.
This will be fascinating, James. Will Power, his first oval qualifying attempt with his new Andretti team, and he looked pretty sporty this morning in practice. Well onto the apron in terms of that yellow line right there, helping to get his car turned. That looked pretty good.
Well, certainly did, Townsend. P5 this morning, 173.8, his fastest lap around here. Schumacher's target time, the average for 2 laps, 173.6. We right on board with Will Power now in the 26.
Come on, hold it down here.
A little left.
Almost up in the light gray. That was dicey.
Adjustment to the engine map there. You can see held 6th gear. Didn't have to downshift. And he's tracking slightly ahead of Schumacher, but Schumacher had a great run off of 4 to start that second lap.
Oh, no! And Power's lost it. And that's a big one. And we saw that with Rosenqvist earlier. Once it starts to go, there really is no catching it here. A blistering first lap for Will Power. Ends backwards into the wall. Crashes for him both in practice and the race in St. Pete. A crash now in qualifying, and all of the hope and expectation on this partnership having a very rough beginning.
Oh, he gets loose really early.
It looks like there was a bump. The car almost started to oscillate a little bit. But you're right, it's very early in the corner to have that happen. But this is
it's a shame.
The cost of going to the absolute limit. Let's listen.
Makes a bar adjustment. So he softened up the front anti-roll bar with his right hand, which allows the front to definitely get a little bit more bite.
It's a bit more of a glancing blow than what we saw from Rosenqvist in practice.
Glancing. It's probably 50 G's. But yes, it did.
Just in that he kept his momentum going forwards as well.
Still a hard hit, but you're right, not nearly as bad as of an angle.
But guys, to Felix's point, right? They couldn't get that car ready to go for qualifying. There's even less time now between qualifying and final practice, which is where you're really working on your race car. That's going to be a tough session to miss if the 26 crew can't get that thing sorted.
167.8 in practice this morning. He was 23rd out of 25. Room to improve, speed to find. His teammate, Rinus Veekay, had a wonderful morning, was well up in the top 10. How much will he be able to learn from him?
Well, you say he was 23rd in practice. As long as he finishes his run, he'll start no worse than that. With
very true.
One car out, one car not participating altogether. And it's always a bit unnerving. I don't know if you ever had this, Townsend, in your racing days when you were the next car out on track after somebody clocked the wall in qualifying. It's not the best feeling.
Well, especially if there's any oil dry down on the racetrack, which I don't think I saw any fluids coming out of Will Power's car. But either way, this is the hardest slot to have, which is you are the guinea pig to make sure that the track is clean of any debris and that you can make it through a section where one of the most experienced and successful drivers in the history of IndyCar just lost it.
Schumacher's pace-setting first lap was a 173.7.
172.5.
172.5. That's quicker than Dixon and quicker than Ferrucci. So Stingray Robb trending rather well as it stands at the moment.
You said it, T-Bell, that Schumacher may have had a great starting spot being early before the conditions got tougher. Big lift, though, from Stingray on that one to the line.
It's a 172.5 average, quicker than Scott Dixon. Lovely run from Stingray Robb. Nolan Siegel had an impressive practice this morning. His team boss Tony Kanaan stating before the season started that Siegel had to find his way into the top 10 in the Drivers' Championship if he wants to retain his seat. Nolan was in the top 10 in practice this morning, trending very much in the right direction. Comfortable from the off on this track for McLaren. The 21-year-old up to speed. And that warm-up speed, pretty decent for Nolan Siegel. As you said, 173.7. Target time for lap 1, that of Mick Schumacher's. Looking tidy for him out there.
Very stout warm-up speed. Car looks balanced. Throttle trace looks great. This is the ghost car that he's chasing of Mick Schumacher. Nolan goes 172.5.
Trending slightly ahead of Stingray Robb.
182 miles an hour at turn-in. 4 turns 1 and 2. Let's see what he hits. Just over 180 heading into 3 and 4, but it looks like Mick still has the edge.
Schumacher has the edge. Siegel slots into second, and I liked what I was seeing in there from the steering input for Nolan Siegel. Very calm, very controlled, decent pace. Average of 172.9 for Nolan Siegel. That's a good run.
Speaking of confidence, Will, maybe nobody more confident behind the wheel in any setting, especially short ovals, than this guy, Christian Rasmussen, who just absolutely lit up the IndyCar world with a sensational performance last year to take his first win at Milwaukee.
Mr. Bin it or win it. Rasmussen, who took that wonderful first ever IndyCar victory in Milwaukee, had us all on the edge of our seats. Never less than enthralling. Christian Rasmussen and ECR critically went brilliantly here in the pre-season test. A lot of expectation within this team for this particular weekend. Both of them, both Rasmussen and his teammate Rossi, looking pacey in practice this morning.
He told us earlier in the preseason, I have a reputation, and that's fine. He's okay with it. Meaning he has a reputation as someone who's a little bit ragged out there, who the other drivers aren't that comfortable running wheel to wheel with. Warm-up speed 168.6, but we ride on board with the Sultan of Sketch here. Haven't seen things get too sideways yet.
Oh,
but if it does, he's willing to stick his foot in it and hang on.
And lap 1 is low.
It's a big lift in 1 and 2 on lap 1, equally on lap 2.
James, he's not trusting his car right now. A lot of hesitation with his right foot on the throttle.
Oh, little hesitation going in there at turning. You saw that quick correction. What's that going to do to the speed?
Up to 5th, only faster than Ferrucci. Rasmussen is going to have to fight his way from far lower than he would have expected, and we would have expected. This is a run I'm interested to see, guys. Graham Rahal, with experience on this track and in this championship, his teammate, his new rookie teammate, fastest of all, and with a first lap that no one can really get close to at the moment. How similar are their setups? How much has Mick been able to tell Graham about conditions out there? How much have conditions changed? This will tell us a lot.
Well, and how much is
70% deploy out of 4?
How much is Graham Rahal going to adjust to having a great short oval car for the first time? For so many years, it's been a struggle bus. I'm not sure, James, that having all the experience is an advantage right now compared to Mick Schumacher, who really doesn't know it any other way. So for Graham, I think it's finding confidence again that, hey, we might have a car that's able to contend for pole.
Feathering it a little bit in 1 and 2, but not much. Pretty solid through 3 and 4. Let's look at this time.
174.1. Rahal have found something on short ovals.
RLL stepping up the game. A little bit more of a lift in 1 and 2 this lap. You see him making
out of 4 again.
An adjustment. You hear Brian Barnhart full deploy out of 4, but he's going to get that hybrid recharge as he lifts.
And that's the difference with his teammate Mick Schumacher. Graham has the experience with the hybrid, and that takes him to the top. What a fantastic turnaround for this team in 2026.
It is an RLL 1-2.
Got too loose in 1 and 2, man. It's okay, but just really losing grip.
Now one of 3 rookies in the field, along with Mick Schumacher and Indy Next champion Dennis Hauger, is this man, Collet, who jumps up from Indy Next. Was a force to be reckoned with on ovals during his Indy Next career. Didn't have an easy practice session. Was, I believe, slowest of the pack.
Now 163 warm-up. But what I like about this rookie is how gently he's loading the car. He looks extremely smooth. We know his teammate at AJ Foyt Racing is the slowest car in the field right now. So this is a rookie who's taking his time to build up to things with a car that might not be handling nearly as good as they would have hoped coming into the weekend.
Horrible first lap of 167.1.
The amount of time that he is off throttle completely at both ends of the racetrack. It's almost like the team told him, hey, look, conditions are tough.
Yeah.
Guys are wrecking cars or almost wrecking cars. Let's just go drive around, get this run under our belts, and not worry about the speed.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. Now what can this guy do? Alexander Rossi, his teammate Christian Rasmussen, did not have the 2-lap run that we were expecting. Rossi, though, was fastest in the pre-season test here at Phoenix. We'll be hoping to dislodge the RLL duo at the top of the timings at the moment.
James, this guy had a pretty lively practice session in terms of catching a pretty big moment from the cockpit. So he's hustling the car, but as we saw from his teammate, he might not have the car to match with the hustle right now. We'll have to see how this warm-up lap looks and how stable this number 20 Java House car is mid-corner.
Spoke to Alex after practice. He said conditions much different than what they had at the test. He was, of course, the quickest car at the test here a few weeks ago, but said the track just wasn't quite there, the grip just not quite there. Look at that throttle trace, glued for the first part of 1 and 2, but really had to crack it mid-corner.
Wasn't bad, but it certainly doesn't look as committed as Rahal and Schumacher have posted so far.
It's a hell of a warm-up speed, 72.5, 173.5 for his first flyer, nowhere near where Rahal was, and slower than Schumacher as well.
Oh, that looked pretty good though. Lap 2.
Looks fairly consistent.
Just a smaller lift through 1 and 2, but he's fighting some tire wear as track temps continue to rise. I think this might just be a tick quicker.
Hey guys, I didn't see.
Nope.
I didn't see his hybrid regenning when he was lifting in 3 and 4 there. I wonder if there was some sort of issue that was costing him a bit. Ultimately, P3 at the moment.
Talking of expectations, Giffen Simpson, I think, possibly exceeded them with a top 10 start at St. Petersburg. A great start to the season for him. Opening lap, though, at 170.9, down a good 2.5 miles an hour on where his teammate was. 1.5 miles an hour on where his teammate was. Scott Dixon.
What's track temp say over there, James?
Track temp is at 96. It's actually come down a few degrees.
That's interesting. I thought it would be over 100 by now.
Simpson slots into 8th, ahead of the 2 AJ Foyts.
Well, let's see what Louis can do.
Let's see what Louis can do. Lord Louis Foster from Oldham in England, 22 years old, his sophomore season in the NTT IndyCar Series. Rookie of the Year last year, but didn't have a top 10 finish all season long. Does have 1 pole position to his name on the street.
That looked pinned, guys, through 1 and 2. That's very sporty. Even more confident, more comfortable than what Graham showed. Early lift, big lift, way wide.
Pretty high.
Way wide in 4.
That's going to get his heart stopping for a split second. 172.1 there, but this second lap's probably going to be affected by that lift.
Yeah, dropped him down to 172. Lost some momentum there for Louis Foster. Possibly just a touch too fast for him after that beautiful opening stanza to the...
Oh, Bob, did you see that big wiggle and a big black mark coming off the right rear? He almost lost it.
P7 for Foster.
That was an interesting run for the sophomore driver to have what looked like a ton of understeer off. It looked like he turned in really early to 3 and 4 that first lap, and then the second lap, just big moment off.
Did he learn that from Graham Rahal? The turn in early and exit high and early, because this was scary. I think, watch the right rear. Just look at that thing. Going loose and just laying rubber.
Oh, good save. Not getting up into the wall. You can see a little puff of smoke coming off. I wonder if that's just the car bottoming a tiny little bit, upsetting the balance.
As David Malukas heads out on track. Kevin Lee, I believe, is with an interested observer.
Yeah, this is cool. The crossover weekend, and we get to see the IndyCar guys look at NASCAR. And three-time Cup champion Joey Logano is in the Team Penske pit supporting David Malukas. Have you had much of a chance to ever see IndyCar in person?
Not much. When they ran the Grand Prix in Indy, I was able to see that because we're racing all the time too, so it's really hard to be able to watch them. But you know, they build the cars in the same shop as us, and we know everybody, and it's fun to have a weekend like this where we can actually see them race on an oval here in Phoenix. So it's gonna be fun. It's been an eye-opening experience coming down here and watching the cars go through 3 and 4 for the first time. I'm used to seeing a Cup car go around there and know what that looks like. This is fast motion.
Hey, we're looking forward to have you on the broadcast tomorrow. So Joey is getting some work done, getting some notes, ready to join us in the booth for the race tomorrow.
And he may be calling a really decent race.
This looks really good, guys.
For his teammate at Penske, David Malukas. That first lap is a 175.6, and that looks pinned.
And he was wide open on lap 1 and wide open on lap 2. This is the kind of promise and potential that Roger Penske saw when they signed this kid.
Just listen there. You can hear the floor just scraping the racetrack on the absolute limit.
Checker flag.
Oh,
Nice work.
never
Get off for
in
one.
doubt from that first lap. 175.3 for David Malukas. That is the new benchmark, and that will be difficult to beat. What a lap. What a two-lap run from David Malukas.
This track is his bread and butter. The 2 podiums that he's had have come on short ovals. Oh, no, wait. He had one at the 500, didn't he? Where did he finish in Indy?
Second.
Yeah, sorry. That's his third one. I take that back. When he was driving for Dale Coyne those first 2 years, he had short oval podiums. His first 2 were on the short ovals. And now Armstrong here. He had a great race going in St. Pete. Or last week, I should say. Got derailed a bit in that final stint, but let's see. Meyershank, of course, with that technical partnership with Chip Ganassi Racing, and so far the only other car was Scott Dixon, who struggled, not able to hold it flat.
Well, and Kiffin Simpson there in 10th with the 170.9. So Marcus Armstrong kind of matching up to those Ganassi teammates. A little high of the yellow line there, and the car definitely walking up the racetrack. Lap 1, 172.6, but that's better than Dixon and better than Kiffin Simpson, but big lift there.
Would have him trending around the P5 spot at the moment. Marcus Armstrong, the sole MSR in this session. His teammate Felix Rosenquist, big accident in practice this morning. Armstrong, though, looks to have it all under control.
Checker flag here. Checker.
And it's good enough for 7. 10 drivers stand between David Malukas and a first ever pole position in IndyCar. What about this guy then? Dennis Hauger, 3 poles in his Indy Next championship year last year. No wins, but he certainly knows how to put a lap together around an oval. Deeply impressive first weekend.
Also got a chance to test at Nashville Superspeedway, so for a rookie to be able to get a couple of oval tests preseason is pretty rare. Put on about 10 pounds in the offseason just preparing for the physicality of moving from the Indy Next car to the Indy car. So he's yoked up and ready to go. And James, driving wise, yoked up there in turns 1 and 2. That looked pretty decent.
That looked pretty solid indeed. This team's been quick here in the past. That first lap, down on pure pace.
Yikes.
But you look at the throttle trace. I mean, that's a pretty big commitment to the throttle. The car just doesn't have the speed, T-Bell.
Is that too much downforce? They all should be running about the same, I would think, in terms of downforce levels. This looked a little better, perhaps, in turns 3 and 4, but like you said, the outright pace just not there.
I would say that the throttle trace looked kind of similar to Malukas.
Yes.
Pinned or nearly completely pinned in 1 and 2, slight lift in 3, 4. But
did I hear him say something about engine power? I'm not sure as he crossed the line, but a 169.8 average. Now though, Rinus Veekay, who has impressed so much, and okay, we're only 1 weekend into this season, but a brilliant race in St. Pete to fight his way up and into the top 10. Great practice session this morning as well in his new home at JHR, settling in immediately. The team love him from the outset. What a wealth of experience and pace and leadership Rinus Veekay brings to this organization.
It's crazy to think how many races Rinus Veekay has competed in the IndyCar series. He's coming up on his 100th start in a few weeks' time. He's got, of course, that 1 win at Indy Road Course, but for a driver that's only 25 years old, he's got that experience now to be that team leader. We saw it last year at Coyne, and we're seeing it this year at JHR, and we're seeing, he kept it committed for a while, but had to crack the throttle at the end there.
His teammate Stingray Robb had a really good run already, currently sits in 6th, so we know there's some speed in the car, but that's an awfully big lift down at the other end in turns 3 and 4. That first lap is still solid though, 173.3.
Nice for a first lap, 173.389. He may not trouble Malukas, but he could trouble the top 5. Veekay on a decent run here in Phoenix. Just turns 3 and 4 left to navigate for the Dutchman. Over the line for him, and he jumps up to 5th. Wonderful run for Rinus Veekay.
Nice and consistent, only 0.2 of a mile an hour drop off. That's a strong run, and to put yourself ahead of one of the McLarens there of Nolan Siegel, right behind Rossi, that's a solid effort.
Now we will see Romain Grosjean returning to the NTT IndyCar Series this year with Dale Coyne, a team with whom he made his debut in IndyCar. The last time we raced here in Phoenix, it was a Dale Coyne pole for Sebastian Bourdais. His teammate has just qualified 2nd slowest. Let's see if it's the car or if Grosjean can extract anything else from that.
Yeah, that's the question I have, is was Dennis Hauger, was his pace down to something car related? Because driving wise, balance wise, the car looked pretty hooked up. You'd have to think that Hauger and Grosjean are going to be on a similar setup here.
Grosjean made his oval debut at Gateway in his rookie season. Very similar kind of racetrack to this one, and had some pretty spectacular moves. One of those situations where it's almost like as the rookie, you didn't know what you didn't know, and very committed to the ball.
Yeah. What I like is those left side tires are right down on the yellow line where peak grip is available to help the car get through the corner. Not down to the yellow line though in turns 3 and 4, but the pace looks pretty decent.
No, it's just that top speed, T-Bell, into 3. He just doesn't have what other cars are topping, getting close to a $180 even over. Yeah, and just watch. Close. Look at this top speed.
Is that wing? Are they just over wing? Over too much downforce?
Just saw some of the incidents, saw some of the struggles.
Oh, man.
And again, super consistent, only 1/10 of a mile an hour difference. So yeah, that tells me these cars are loaded up on downforce. They wanted to survive. They didn't want to have happen to them what happened to Will Power. They didn't want to have the struggles that we saw out of Dixon, out of Ferrucci and the like. So they just kind of went conservative, it looks like.
He won last time we were at an oval, Nashville, to round out the 2025 season. His teammate Scott McLaughlin was on pole at St. Pete. His other teammate is on the provisional pole, and at the moment Malukas is tracking just narrowly ahead of Joseph Newgarden, but it is inches, not even a car length between the two of them.
He started that first lap a little bit ahead, did Malukas, a better warm-up lap, but what I liked was he had a later turn into turn 1, something that Joseph's normally really known for. It's almost like Malukas is out Newgarden in terms of line.
Here comes Newgarden back a little bit though, maybe a little bit quicker on lap 2.
You heard that clicking again, that's the floor. I don't think it's enough, guys.
74.7 lap 1, 74.3 lap 2. Newgarden slots into 2nd. It is a Penske 1-2. But will there be an element of disappointment for Newgarden? He's not been able to depose his new young teammate David Malukas.
6 cars to go, including Marcus Ericsson. Mick Schumacher is sitting 4th at the moment. Mick Schumacher's going to start in the top 10 for his first oval race in an RLL car.
That's huge.
That's a big deal, guys, for everybody watching at home.
It may be better.
And maybe better, at the least. Marcus Ericsson watched his teammate hit the wall. Who knows if their setups are close? You know, I'm starting to think that maybe, because Will said in that interview, I was feeling a bit loose. I think he went and stiffened the front bar, not softened it, and it still went around on him. So what do you think's happening with the setup on the 28? Is it the same as the 26?
They've had a long time to think about it. A real long time to think about it.
They would have had time to look at the telemetry that came in from that car. They would have made adjustments in the line. You can only do certain things once you're in the qualifying line, but things like tire pressures and wing adjustments are allowed. So it wouldn't surprise me if they took a little bit of front wing out of this thing.
And Marcus Ericsson did have a crash in the preseason test here at Phoenix. Was that in turn 2?
I don't know.
So that'll be weighing heavy on not just Marcus Ericsson's mind, but also the engineers responsible for making those setup adjustments. We're right on board.
He told me yesterday, I'm going to be aggressive this season. There's one thing I've learned about how I need to race, it's to be aggressive. 172.5 is lap 1. It's not going to trouble the top times. It may get him into the top 10 if he can hold the pace around the second lap. And right now, for Andretti, it's just a case of bringing it home and getting it into the party. Ericsson, round turn 3, round turn 4, over the line for him. 172.1. It is good, but it's only good enough for 10th.
It's a respectable run for sure in terms of drop off. Solid, if unspectacular. And I wonder how much of that was affected by what happened to Will Power earlier in this session.
What about this guy, Pato O'Ward, who has quite an incredible qualifying reputation and history on ovals. 26 years of age, from Monterrey, Mexico, and we know, always electrifying on a short oval.
Little baby correction there on the warm-up lap. That right hand goes down to make an adjustment.
Here, coming to the green, it's so important to get the momentum going to start the lap. That's part of the advantage that Malukas had over Newgarden.
Oh my word, the warm-up lap is huge.
And that's what you need to see. This guy, we talked about that qualifying.
Oh yeah, baby.
Last year on ovals,
wide open.
Fourth.
Wide open in turns 1 and 2. We only saw Malukas and Newgarden capable of that so far.
But Malukas ahead, just. It was a car length, it's now slightly more. But 174.7 for lap 1 is incredibly good. Trending towards second place at the moment for O'Ward. What's he got on the second lap?
Way high. Way high.
Right down onto the yellow line there in the middle of 1 and 2.
And then high at the exit. This is going to absolutely destroy Pato O'Ward's average.
Checkered flag.
173.3. O'Ward slots in behind Rossi. It's only good enough for 6th as it stands.
David Malukas, 1 car closer to his first pole in IndyCar. As we take a replay of the 5, you see him get all the way down on the line. Looks like maybe had a correction.
Just took too much, I think, down there, and then just had to chase it and back out.
That guy.
Carl Kirkwood is the next. Then it's Christian Lundgaard, Scott McLaughlin. The last to go will be Alex Palou. The question we all have is, can Alex Palou fare any better than his Ganassi or Ganassi-associated teammates, who right now, none of them, with the exception of Armstrong, who is just in the top 10, just in the top 10. Kirkwood, one of his teammates has crashed. The other one, Marcus Ericsson, is down in 11th. Is this a case of just getting it into the show? Or is it a case of pushing to try and get a little higher than his teammate Kirkwood? Let's have a look. The warm-up speed is 171.
The goal's got to be a top 10 here. He was top 10 in practice. You see Ericsson sitting right now at 11th.
Hang on a second. Hang on a second. Kyle Kirkwood, full wood there in turns 1 and 2. He is absolutely foot to the floor.
A little bit bigger of a lift than we've seen in 3-4.
173.1. It's good enough for top 10 if he can maintain that pace, but he has to maintain it.
And still slower than both RLL cars, guys. Look at the gap there to Malukas. Definitely not going to trouble him, but where?
Oh, he got on the hard limiter a little bit there.
That cost you lap time.
And
no doubt about it.
Dropping down from the ghost car.
P9.
P9.
Not bad. I mean, given where the rest of the team has been so far, I think that's pretty solid for Kyle Kirkwood. And guys, right now, Graham Rahal will be the second best Honda, or maybe the best Honda on short oval qualifying. It all depends on what Alex Palou can pull off at the end.
Christian Lundgaard was only 15th fastest this morning. How have the changes wrong since practice affected the car? His teammate Pato O'Ward currently 6th. Pato O'Ward out-qualified by Mick Schumacher and Graham Rahal. That is the extent of the job, as you were saying, James, that RLL have done over the winter. What a car they provided, what a job their drivers have done. Let's focus now, though, on Christian Lundgaard.
We know the team has the speed because we just saw what Pato O'Ward was able to do on lap 1. He just got a little too greedy on lap 2. Can Christian Lundgaard pull it all together and stay consistent?
O'Ward's first lap was a 174.7. The top time you're aiming for, the top speed you're aiming for, is a 175.6 for lap 1. Let's see where Lundgaard is at. Let's see how quick his warm-up lap was. 168, not huge.
Bit down. I'm excited to see what he can do, though. I think what I really want to see out of him, as we see big lifts here in 1 and 2, is can he close the gap to Pato on the oval? So far, not a great look. We know that Ryan Hunter-Reay, who's the 4th car for this team at Indy, is on hand to help.
White flag, one more, please.
It's only a 171.3 for lap 1. That's not going to do it. Not even close.
.180 miles an hour. Heading into turn 3.
100% off throttle. We haven't seen that from a lot of cars.
Checkered flag, warm you.
That's a surprise.
2 cars remain, but is this the only driver who can possibly deny David Malukas? It is a Penske 1-2. Will it be a 1-2-3, and in what order? Scott McLaughlin was on pole for the season opener in St. Pete. Can he make it 2 on the bounce?
Told us in the offseason that it's the first time since he's been at Team Penske where he really asserted himself in terms of identifying personnel in the organization that he wanted to bring onto his team, onto his car.
4-time a pole sitter on the ovals in the NTT IndyCar Series. He knows how to get it done.
Woo, a little high there.
He has never won back-to-back poles. Let's see how this first lap, a little bit on the limiter.
And that was early on the limiter, but look at that.
Oh, he's close.
Big lifts, though, but it's fast. He's right there with Malukas. Now Malukas is pulling down the back straightaway. Let's see what Scotty Mack can pull off here.
An adjustment on the front bar. Not as happy with the balance as his teammate. White flag.
174.0 lap 1, 1.5 miles an hour down on his teammate.
Another adjustment on the front bar and a big lift in 1 and 2, way high.
Tells you everything you need to know about just how good that lap was from David Malukas. Scott McLaughlin, will it be 2 in a row? It will not. And it's not going to be a Penske 1-2-3.
Mick Schumacher has out-qualified Scott McLaughlin. As you can see, Malukas getting very excited.
Because he knows one driver remains. It is the champion. It is the man who achieves the impossible almost every weekend. But can he pull a rabbit out of a hat here? Because the Ganassis do not look like they have the pace. It doesn't look like they have the car. Do they have the driver? Kevin.
And Alex Palou was only 18th in the practice this morning, but he's better than that. They just did not get a clean lap, and in the open test and the qual sims, he was 3rd quick. They also learned a bit from what Marcus Armstrong did, and they're going down in a turn and a half on the front wing. Seems unlikely to challenge Malukas, but certainly better than what he showed this morning. We'll find out if Malukas gets his first pole very shortly.
So much made of David Malukas stepping into the 12 car, a number, a livery made so famous by Will Power. Guys, can I ask you about Will Power's 2nd ever race with Penske back in 2009, qualifying his first pole with Penske. 1 pole in his 2nd race. Just saying, it's out there.
We're used to seeing the 12 on top on Saturdays, or on qualifying days, I should say. In this case, it's just got a different pilot in it right now as it sits on top with just 1 car to go, but that 1 car happens to be the best in the business at the moment, Alex Palou.
What is he known for behind the wheel? Very precise inputs, incredible temperament, knowing when to push, knowing when to let it ride. Can you pull all that, get together over 2 laps and really leapfrog where your team has been holistically? 169 is the warm-up, but that doesn't tell me everything. You can save your tires on a warm-up lap. Throttle looks pretty good right there through turns 1 and 2.
Hybrid deployment.
Look at the top speed, 181, not bad.
Over the line for lap 1 for Alex Palou. What is it? It's not even close. 172.648. Unless he has an afterburner in that car, it's going to be David Malukas' first ever pole in IndyCar. Alex Palou, the magician, has no answer. Malukas already in the embrace of his family and his team down on pit lane. It will be a first pole position for David Malukas. Embraces his parents. Been a long time coming. So much talk and expectation about this move. Delivering immediately. Malukas on pole here at Phoenix. It's a Penske 1-2. What a day, what a moment, what a couple.
The stage is set for a weekend where IndyCar and NASCAR go back-to-back on one track.
Great.
IndyCar Saturday, NASCAR Sunday.
It is on pure perfection.
Your one and only chance to see the biggest names in racing in one place.
Oh, that's a big one. Whoa!
From Phoenix Raceway. The Desert Double starts Saturday at 3 on Fox.